except this is at 190 miles an hour. And I hope your morning commute is not.
Outside.
A lot of times we'll see those guys pull out like that. We heard Jimmy Johnson talk about his water temperature. You're tucked up behind his car. That's just making the water temperature go up. You'll stick it out there, get a little air in that radiator inlet, cool that water down.
You're all clear, all clear.
It'll put a little downforce on the nose, too. But when you're all lined up like that, basically you're trying to see.
41 of 188 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back to the front. He's led all but 10 laps so far at Talladega.
I think there's angels amongst us.
Oh, there must be. For this man to be the bystander, and Darrell, there's more to the story. Larry Hicks was suffering from cancer, and it was thought he might not live out past the year 2001, but he's under chemotherapy, and he was there for Jack Brown. You gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Kenny Schrader's bad luck continues. It took him about 25 laps to lap him here. That just goes to show you how slow you're running by yourself. Once he was lapped, he came to pit road, got 4 fresh tires here on lap 45.
Did anybody mention Sterling Marlin lately?
Our point leader?
Our point leader.
There he is. Just ahead of Ryan Newman.
And in 3rd place.
Very quietly.
Yes, methodically.
Right up there to the leaderboard. Bobby Hamilton got 4 tires on his pit stop, and Frank Kimmel had a broken shock absorber problem. That's why he is off the track. Sterling Marlin started 31st, made that big jump up into the top 15, fell back with that big pack. Here he comes.
And what I see about this car, Larry, and you know this too, every week they start off, maybe they don't qualify too good, but before the day's over with, that is the best handling race car on the racetrack. Saw it at Darlington, saw it everywhere we've been so far this year. Rockingham, he gets that car at Daytona better and better as the race goes along.
It don't seem to matter what type of racetrack. This is his Daytona 500 car. This is the one he got out, pulled on the right front fender, and was penalized.
I tell you who else has pulled up to that front pack is Hut Strickland. The Bill Davis Dodge up to 5th place. Strickland has had a real up and down day, and we've seen him pull some daring moves, but it's gotten him to 5th.
Sure, a lot of fans here pulling for him. Hut's from Alabama.
It's been a while since we had 2 Alabama drivers in a Winston Cup race. Hut Strickland and Steve Grissom from Gadsden.
And this comes as no big surprise to me, but I think the sleepers in the race are all the Dodges. I think that once they get racing and they get the air moving around, that's a very good race car. We got like 6 Dodges in the top 11.
You have Jeremy Mayfield, the 19. Realistically, his teammate Casey Atwood in the 7 Ray Evernham car with Jim Smith co-owning it.
There's Casey, right behind Jeremy. His sponsor just announced, Sirius Radio just announced they'll sponsor the Michigan June race and the Watkins Glen race.
No, Darrell, you said you talked to Ray. I talked to Ray Evernham as well. And one thing he was concerned about, he said the GM and the Fords are starting to turn the restrictor plate motors up a little bit more RPM. And he said it just don't seem like that the Dodges want to turn that many RPMs with a restrictor plate.
One of the problems I think that the Dodge teams have had is last year they built this car brand new last year, 2001 Daytona 500 on last year's aero package. They had the fin on the roof, the wicker bill on the back, and they built the car around that package. And when they took that off, unlike the other teams, they had no notes. So they basically had to start all over again. That's not affecting the engine program so much, Larry, but you got to remember something. With that other aero package had a much bigger restrictor plate.
Yes.
So when they went to this small plate, the Ford teams and the Chevrolet teams had experience with the small plate.
Only a 16th bigger, but that's about 35 or 40 horsepower.
And it changes the power band in the motor.
Now, Larry, if we have pit stops under the green flag, that can be a great equalizer here. Right now, 1st to 20th is only 2 seconds as Jeffrey Bodine makes his stop. 1st to 40th is just 4 seconds.
I mean, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find me 3 or 4 other teams that I don't want to pit with everybody on pit road. I mean, you get banged and beat and fenders knocked in. If I can find me 3 or 4 guys and you share information, are you going to do 2 or are you going to do 4? It does you no good if you're going to change 2 and they change 4, because then all of a sudden you get separated from them.
What you got to be really careful of is when you come on to pit road is to not, somebody's going to smoke the tires. Guys behind them see that smoke, they react. So you got to be careful when you come on pit road and not get run over from behind. You got to give a hand signal plenty early. I think the 44 car had that problem.
Dick Bergeron.
Well, Jimmy Johnson is pitting right now. He is pitting along with his teammate, Jerry Nadeau. That was an orchestrated deal so that they would pit together. Johnson's car, they're still concerned about heat. They pulled the a piece of tape off the grill. He gets up to 250 as much as 260 degrees, and just before the pit stop, he was down to 230. Johnson's away, and right behind him his teammate Jerry Nadeau.
We're going to see a bunch of cars. They're all coming to the bottom of the racetrack. Everybody got to be careful right here.
And we see him get run over a lot there. You're going from 190 down to 55 miles an hour on pit road.
And you'll smoke that right front tire. It's about the lightest tire. Oh, yeah, Buckshot had a flat.
Actually, Steve Grissom down the 44 car.
Sorry, Steve.
With DW, Michael Waltrip's in. They're going to make a wedge adjustment. He said he's a little bit loose. 4 tires for the number 15. That was Chevrolet of Michael Waltrip. Jeff Kerr, the Jackman. 4 tires for Michael Waltrip. Let's go to Matt Yoko.
His teammate, Steve, down here in the first pit stall towards turn 1, Dale Earnhardt Jr. A 4-tire change. No adjustment. He was clear the car as he drops the jack. 14.7 seconds.
Now all the way to turn 3 and 4, these cars will be so much slower than the cars still running on the racetrack because it takes so long to get up to full speed here.
And one thing you've got to be really careful of as a driver is taking off out of the pit. These cars got really high gear ratios in them. You can throw the drive shaft out. You can break the transmission. Really got to get the tires spinning. That's when it's the best.
Now the pack in turn 1, Earnhardt Jr. just coming out of 2 on the backstretch, and that pack should catch him before he gets up to full speed. Dick Berggren?
Kurt Busch is in. He's pretty much all by himself in the area where he is. We are seeing people take 4 tires. The reason for taking 4 tires at this point is they have run so far that they pretty much run the cars out of gas. It'll take long enough to put the gas in. Might as well put 4 tires in it. To Matt.
And Dick, Johnny Benson is in. A 4-tire change as well. No adjustments. They pack that fuel cell full of fuel, and he's down and away.
The pack caught Dale Earnhardt Jr., but did not pass him. Now, they work past those cars that have just come off pit road. Look at the speed differential. It's immense.
This will change the complexion of the race. These pit stops under green changes everything, Dick.
Well, the crew has been urging Robbie Gordon to come in. They wanted him to come in just a little bit before this. Gordon's car is so good, he just stayed on the racetrack. You know, when they feel good, it's hard to get off the speedway. He, like everybody else, is going to take 4 tires. A few moments ago, he called in and said the car was a little bit tight. He's been very quiet on the radio. That's the only comment he has made. There goes Robbie Gordon.
Matt Kenseth has led a lap. Our number 2 point man picks up 5 bonus points, as did Sterling Marlin. And here we go, right at it again, 3 wide.
And one of the things that Sterling hadn't capitalized on this year is bonus points. Matt Kenseth and others have gotten a whole lot more bonus points by leading laps or leading a lap. And Sterling hadn't taken advantage of that every race.
This pack right here, they've been back out there now for 2 laps, and they're gaining a lot on Sterling Marlin, that group that just came off pit road.
You think merging onto the highway when they're doing 70 is tough? Try it at 2.5 times that speed.
Yeah, with somebody breathing down your back. Spotters hollering at you, crew chiefs hollering at you. You got people all around you. You got your hand up in the air. Brakes don't work too good because they're cold. God, it's tough being a driver. I like it a lot more.
4 wide. Matt Kenseth continues to lead. He has not yet made a pit stop. That Jack Roush gas mileage as Kenseth stretches the fuel window here.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay right now because he's out there in a pack and he's running comfortable lap times. But the problem will be if he pits by himself and don't get back with a pack, he's going to be running 1.5 to 2 seconds slower because he's going to have no one to run with, to draft with.
And we saw that happen yesterday. I think that probably cost Stacy Compton that race yesterday. He stayed out 1 lap too long under green.
And when he came back out on the racetrack, all he could do was catch Jason Keller. He couldn't pass him. Jason Keller, the winner of yesterday's Busch Series race. Kenseth has his hand in the air. He's waving. He is going to pit.
And not only that, now he's got to come down out of that traffic. So he's got to be really cautious, slow down even a little earlier than maybe he would if it was wide open behind him.
Now, what's good, he'll be on pit road by himself. No chance of getting blocked in his pits or getting into an accident with someone. But when he pits and comes back out there, he has to make sure he's with a pack.
The other disadvantage to pitting by yourself is every NASCAR official with the stopwatch will be clocking just him coming down pit road.
And that's how they clock pit road speed, is with a stopwatch through seconds.
4 ride all the way around turns 1 and 2.
Boy, that was close. That Strickland squeezed right in front of Mike Wallace there to get back in line.
Strickland has been driving like a man possessed today. There's Jeffrey Bodine. Look at the big donut on the side of his car.
Looks like stuff from Martinsville last week. They're putting donuts on each other at 190 miles an hour.
These cars they'll be beat up just like they've been running on a short track.
All right, Matt Kenseth, he's just going into turn 1 right now. The pack's coming through the trial bull. It's going to be tough for him to get with that pack, but maybe he can get with the second pack. He's in the middle of 1 and 2. Leader's just now getting into turn 1.
Merge ahead. About the middle of the backstretch.
I mean, Darrell bending the full fan.
And turning that engine out of the frame. They come on, baby, go.
Now, once you get to the backstretch, you're allowed to pull up into a lane.
Yeah, he's okay. He's going to fall in this group here somewhere. There's enough of them. If there was only 3 or 4, they'd go by him and leave him, but there's enough of them, he'll be able to blend in.
About that late pit stop by Kenseth, Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mike, pretty good strategy. Remember, these guys are racing for the championship. He wanted those 5 bonus points to lead a lap. That's why they stayed out an extra lap or 2.
The first 5 are going to get past him, but he's going to fall in line in 7th place. So not a bad move.
No, good little hole right there. There's enough cars in that pack.
I still don't think he's up to speed totally. Sterling Marlin, that group right there, the 40 car, they're pulling them to the inside. He's still not quite ready to get in line, I don't think.
Larry, let's check that gap. First to 20th was 2 seconds before pit stops. Now it's just 2.1. But first to about 38th was 4 seconds. Now it's 10. And first to 40th is 48 seconds.
And the only strategy was just getting the 5 points because you have to run 63 laps to be able to do this on 2 stops. Don't look like anybody can do that.
After pit stops, looks a little bit like it did before. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front.
3 different times. Top 30 cars within 3 seconds of each other, Jeff Hammond, as we observe some of the strategy at this point. 61 laps in, a guy like Kenseth staying out, Jimmy Johnson, the pole sitter, hitting early. What does that indicate as to what we'll see the rest of the way?
I think there's a lot of guys right now trying to find that combination who they can run with. Jimmy Johnson had fallen back early on, hunted around, didn't find what he wanted, came to pit road early. Now he's right back up to 9th and back in contention. So I think a lot of these crew chiefs are trying to find if they can come to the pit road with certain guys and be able to make their way back up through the pack and be effective by the end of the day.
Speaking of the pack, as we look at the back of the pack, if people know about Saturday's Busch race, 27 cars involved in the big one. Last year was caution-free here. What would indicate here as to someone sitting back there if we might have more problems?
Well, right now, I think you still, early on, we've seen a lot of patience. I don't think guys are really getting too excited. They're willing to fall in a single line and work their way back and forth. We've already seen, we've had 43 cars, Chris, between only 3 seconds of the lead early on. So I think everybody knows their cars are capable of, and they're showing a lot of patience right now. Later on, that may go away.
And there have only been 2 caution-free races run here at Talladega. 6 leaders, 8 lead changes. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds.
Caution-free here at Talladega through 63 laps. Let's have a look at our 7-Eleven pit summary, where they came in or where they went out.
Jeremy Mayfield, that 19 group, they did a good job, Jeremy and the crew going from 8th to 2nd. Elliott Sadler as well, 18th to 4th, and Tony Stewart. That group, they do it every week on pit road. And we want to look at this right here between Earnhardt Jr., Waltrip, and Mayfield. This group right here, Earnhardt Jr., good pit stop, good lap time. The lap time is the 2 laps, including the stop. But I think what helped Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's at the very last pit box, leaving pit road. He could come down pit road, focus on his pit box. When he went to leave, he did not have to worry about speed, just get up to speed. This is the very last pit leaving pit road. He